Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on, to better explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that are being done right and or done wrong. Here we go.
Hello, I'm Deputy Chief Terrence Rhodes of the Dallas Police Department's Criminal Investigations Group. I will brief you on the details as we know them of the officer-involved shooting that occurred on September 28, 2022 in the 10,300 block of Shiloh Road in Dallas, Texas. This is the 7th officer-involved shooting involving a Dallas police officer in 2022. Body-worn camera video and 911 recordings will be shared at the end of this presentation. On September 28, 2022 at approximately 5:33 a.m., Dallas police officers responded to an armed encounter call in the 10,300 block of Shiloh Road in Dallas, Texas. The preliminary investigation determined several people called 911 reporting a man walking around the area with a pistol in his hand. Officers Jacob Rosenberg, Brandy Walding, and Otilio Valdez Sanchez Jr. responded and found the suspect, 64-year-old Darrel Hibbard, in the front yard with a pistol in his hand. The preliminary investigation determined the officers gave repeated verbal commands for Hibbard to drop the weapon. Hibbard did not drop the gun and walked toward Officer Walding standing outside of her patrol car. Officer Walding gave at least 30 verbal commands for Hibbard to drop his weapon. Hibbard then raised his pistol and pointed it towards officers. There was an exchange of gunfire and Hibbard was shot several times. Once the scene and the suspect were secured, officers provided medical treatment and the suspect was transported to a local hospital where he died at 7:10 a.m. During the preliminary investigation, police located several loaded rifles stacked on the porch of the home. The investigation determined both Officer Wallings and Officer Rosenberg's marked squad cars were hit by suspects' gunfire. No one else was injured. The Explosive Ordnance Squad also responded to the scene after detectives were informed that the suspect's room may contain explosive devices. A search of the home was conducted and no devices were found. The Dallas Police Special Investigations Unit responded and continues to investigate the incident. The Dallas County District Attorney's Office responded and is conducting an independent investigation. The Office of Community Police Oversight was notified and responded to the scene. In an effort to be transparent, the Dallas Police Department is releasing the body-worn camera footage of the incident.
Nothing wrong with the audio. Camera is in prevent buffer mode. Here soon you'll see him tap his chest and the audio will come on.
Area, so I can clear up and head back to that armed encounter. Clear via on make you.
42. 31, walk out.
Clear via the yard at 10343, make you.
Of the 291, I'm out. Put the gun down! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop it! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Cover code 3, we're on Shiloh. Drop the gun!
Kids are still doing code 3, they're going to be on
Drop it! Drop the gun!
Drop
the gun!
You have a cross street on Shiloh.
Shiloh and Mayhew.
Drop it! Drop the
These
gun!
that are still around.
Drop the gun! Put the gun down! You're gonna get shot! Drop it! Drop the gun! Drop it! Drop the gun!
All right. So we know that these officers are responding to a call of a person who's been pointing guns at people. One of my biggest complaints when it comes to these videos is officers responding to calls where there's guns involved and they neglect to have their rifles out. Now, I don't know how Dallas Police does stuff. I don't know. Each agency's different. This car may not have a rifle in it, may not have a shotgun. If that's the case, then that is a sure sign of poor leadership within the agency. Every patrol car needs to have a rifle or shotgun in it. For an agency as large as Dallas, for them to not have rifles in the cars, that's dumb. Like they can surely afford it. If they're neglecting to do that, then that is a problem with leadership. If this car has a rifle or shotgun in it, then this is a case of failure in training. They're not training the officers properly with the fighting mindset for having a rifle going to a gunfight. If you know you're going to a potential gunfight, bring a rifle and bring all your friends with rifles. So before I go any further on rifles, let's talk about positioning. So she almost, and I don't know if this is, this guy is directly in front of his house. So apparently the house where this guy is at, or where he lives at, he lives with his mom. People in the neighborhood say the man lived in a nearby house with his mother. They say he stayed to himself and rarely talked to neighbors. He's out in the middle of the street, and they pull some guns from a porch. So I don't know exactly where he's at in relation to where his house is. And the street, the layout, I don't know for sure. But rolling up in a marked car when there's a person reported to be out in the middle of the street with a gun and then pulling right up to it is not, in my opinion, the brightest idea. You want to park a little bit of a distance away and then approach the rest of the way on foot. Give yourself that tactical advantage. Everyone's going to see that fucking car rolling up. Even if you don't have the lights turned on, the flashy lights turned on. This is a Dodge Charger. This is a newer model. The headlights are very distinctive. Very distinctive headlights. You see those headlights rolling up, you know it's most likely a fucking cop car. Like anytime you're on the road and you see the headlights of a Dodge Charger, or in the distance you can see the taillights of a Dodge Charger, there's always that possibility that could be a police car. Just like the old Crown Vics, like they had very distinctive headlights. Like you knew from a distance, Crown Vic headlights. Like, oh, that's a possible cop. So, giving yourself the tactical advantage, park a distance away, approach the rest of the way on foot. And if you got a rifle in the car, get that rifle out and proceed the rest of the way on foot with the rifle. Now, getting the call. Got a call for someone with a gun, blah, blah, blah. Before you ever get near the area, I think the best thing to do is to get the rifle out and ready. As soon as you hear the call and you're saying you're not to it, pull off to the side of the road, get your rifle out, whether you keep it in the cab, it's in the rifle mount, or it's in the trunk or cargo space, whatever, wherever the fuck that rifle's at, get it out, charge it up, put that sling around your neck, kind of like a necklace or one-point sling configuration kind of style. Have the muzzle in between your legs. And drive the rest of the way to the scene. That way, when you get on scene and you dismount from that vehicle, whether you quickly have to dismount from that vehicle because you're taking fire, or you get to leisurely dismount that vehicle, you are dismounting that vehicle with a rifle on your body. And you can instantaneously put that rifle into play. If you proceed to scene and you do not get the rifle out and ready, then if you arrive on scene and start taking fire, you're not going to have the time or the luxury, the leisure to get that rifle out of where it's at, charge it, and then get it into play. You're going to have to respond with the gun that is on you, your pistol. And you do not want to be in a gunfight with a pistol if you don't have to be. like I said, you know you're going to a gunfight, bring a rifle. Rifles outperform pistols every day of the week. I don't give a shit what kind of argument you try to bring. You're fucking dead wrong. Rifles will dominate gunfights. Rifles will stop gunfights a lot faster than pistols will. Rifles are more accurate, they have a longer barrel, and you have more points of contact on that weapon. A pistol has a short barrel, and you only get 2 points of contact on there. That's it. Not very good. The terminal ballistics between the two are night and day. That's where the true difference really shines at. Rifle cartridge outperforms pistol cartridge, no questions. The amount of kinetic energy that a rifle cartridge will dump into a target is devastating. You can fire 1 to 3 rounds from a rifle and rapidly incapacitate a threat. You could fire anywhere from 5 to 10 rounds from a pistol to get the same effect. So with rifle, you get to put less rounds in target to get incapacitation, and the power in those rounds and the terminal ballistics and the damage that they do, they rapidly incapacitate that target. There are a lot of people who are walking around the day who've been shot with a pistol, who are shot multiple times with a pistol. There are not that many people today walking around who've been shot with rifle. There's some, but there's not many. But there are a fuck ton of people who've been shot with pistol and are still walking around the day. If this woman had rolled up on scene and had a rifle around her neck, she would have been able to start this off with a rifle pointed at this guy, and it would have been a hell of a lot better than having a pistol. So, 1, her positioning is fucked up, and then 2, her going about this with a pistol is fucked up. But to be fair, like I said, I don't know how these cars are set up. They might not even have rifles in them at all.
Drop the gun!
There's also a point where too much talking becomes dangerous. She has given this guy multiple commands to drop the gun. He's refusing to do so. The longer you wait, the longer you talk, the longer you give more commands, the longer you say, drop it or else, don't make me tell you to do it again. Drop it or I'm going to tell you again. That is allowing them the time to build up that mental confidence of doing the thing, right? This could be a suicide by police scenario. You know what? It's possible. It sucks. It really does. But all you're doing is giving that person that time to build up that mental confidence to do the thing. Whether they intend to just force your hand for suicide by police, or boom, this guy just got caught out of random, and he's like, oh shit, caught by surprise, and he's afraid to do the thing. Like, he has the intention of just wanting to harm police, but she kind of caught him by surprise, and at first he was afraid to do anything because he thought that she was going to get the jump on him. Now he could be building up that mental confidence to be like, all right, I'm ready to do this. He could be thinking about his scenarios here, his location. I could run off to the left, take cover behind this truck, start shooting at her, whatever. The longer you wait, the longer you talk to these people, try and give them these 50 fucking verbal commands, they're doing something in their head. They're thinking about how they're going to fucking kill you. So that's all you're doing. You're giving them time to think about how they're going to kill you.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun or you're gonna get shot! Drop it! Put it down! Put it down! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Get the fucking fucking gun in the fight. God damn. Let's rewatch this.
Drop it! Drop the gun!
A car door sucks as cover. A small ass 22 caliber bullet will go right through a fucking car door. No problem whatsoever. I've seen it, I've done it. It'll go straight through that son of a bitch. This guy, they said this dude had rifles. For sure, his rifle rounds are going through that car door. A car door is not cover. Stop hiding behind fucking car doors. They're not going to save your ass.
Drop the gun or you're gonna get shot! Drop it! Put it down!
So you see him looking, again, like I said, all this time, all he's doing, he's analyzing. He's going through his OODA loop, right? Like he may not even know what the fuck OODA loop is, but he's going through it. He's observing, he's orienting, he's deciding, and he's about to act.
Put it down!
Like I said, everybody wants to talk about verbal de-escalations, de-escalate, de-escalate. Sometimes talking too much escalates the fucking situation. Talking too damn long, as I said earlier, gives them that ability to keep thinking about what they're going to do. Attempting to stay on the plane of verbal de-escalation can cause a situation to become deadly physical situation, deadly force situation. Sometimes the appropriate way to de-escalate a situation is to use physical force. Now, am I saying that you automatically go to physical force? No. Like, you can attempt to do verbal de-escalation. But you have to put a line in the sand at some point. You have to come to terms with the fact that all you're doing is you're giving this motherfucker time to think about how he is going to kill you. And by continuing to talk and talk and talk and talk, you are taking this situation and you are making it a disadvantage to you. Because when they get to initiate contact, you have to respond to that. Action generally beats reaction. If you play the game where you hold both your hands out and your palms are facing the ground, and then your buddy sticks his palms out and his palms are facing yours, and your buddy tries to quickly take his hands and pull them out from under yours and then slap the top of your hand, when your buddy initiates that action, the majority of the time, he's going to slap the top of your hands before you can jerk your hands away to avoid being slapped. Action generally beats reaction. So when you keep it at verbal, and you keep going verbal, and they're sitting here thinking about how they're going to kill you, and they get to that moment where they get that mental confidence, and they initiate action, you're behind the curve. You're having to react to something that someone's doing. So in this instance, it's best for you to initiate contact. They've already given this dude multiple verbal commands. It's time. They should have taken action first. So she's obviously yelling on the radio at this point, shots fired, shots fired. This dude is just mere feet away from her. So that means that as she's shooting, or as she has shot, she's now taking her hand off the gun to reach up to the radio and start talking into it. You know, there's a time and place to talk to dispatch. And there's a time and place not to be talking to the dispatch. In the middle of a gunfight where you're at the fucking tip of the spear, in this kind of instance, that is not the time to be dicking around with your fucking radio. Both hands need to be on the gun, front sight focus, pressing trigger, stopping that threat. You fight, right? Fast. So fast is fight, assess, scan, top off. And then the other T's are take cover, treat injuries, and talk. Talking comes well after fighting, right? You're in the fight. You need to be focused on this fight. Now, granted, I will say that with small unit tactics, those who communicate are more likely to win. But in this kind of layout, this kind of scenario, they know exactly where the threat's at. It's right there in front of them. It's not like they're dealing with a wide area and multiple aggressors or anything like that. Not saying communication is not important right now, but in the grand scheme of things, her instantaneously wanting to yell on the radio right then and there, it's unimportant. It's not necessary. Fuck it. Both her hands need to be on that gun, stabilizing it as much as possible, getting front sight focus, and filling this motherfucker full of lead. So there's a time to talk on the radio, and there's a time not to talk on the radio. So she has fired the slide lock. She needs to move, right? Like, she has an empty gun. She should have moved a lot sooner than that, in my opinion. But she's got an empty gun. Now she's running back, taking cover. And it is taking a long time to get a magazine change.
I'm gonna get hit in my leg. See, my left leg's bleeding in the back. Down there, right there.
No, I don't see it.
Stay down! Stay down!
So she said she thinks she's been hit.
Shot back at us. Stay down! He's still moving, Byron. Okay. You want to move up?
You want to get it, sorry?
Move up, move up, move up. Don't move, don't move, don't move! I got it.
Pull over.
How about 291? We're going to be at 10337. Shiloh with the corner. Shiloh Mason. And you have DFR rolling.
Yes, I've already got them started.
Hey, guys. So I picked this gun and put the glove on and get out of the way.
Count 20, you're already down.
Sure, fuck did.
250, I need to make this 15.
It's not set on the counter. Bellow and thank
There's
you.
a bullet hole. Let me back this up. Pause it just now.
It's not set on the
Looks like a bullet hole right below the eye in police right there.
counter. Bellow and thank you. Remember, reduce the code number. Continue reduce the code number.
Hey, Kimball, what do you need? Why don't you shut up?
So I don't know know if she was shot or not, or if she just peed herself. She says she thought there was blood coming out, but like nothing happened after that. So I don't know what's going on with that.
I took shots fired!
Same fucking thing about what I talked about earlier about communications on the radio. There's a time to talk on the radio, and there's a time not to talk on the radio. Right now, both hands need to be on the gun in a fucking gunfight, not on that damn radio. There's enough people there that you got people there to help deal with the shit. Like, stay off the fucking radio. Like, some people have like a goddamn addiction to their fucking radios, and it's fucking annoying. Like, he's just...
Alpha 242, shot fired.
Good one. Okay.
Alpha 220, we need more elements here now.
Alpha 292, suspect's down. Gun is out of his hand. We need to start medical.
My left side's bleeding. Back.
No. I don't see it. No. I don't see it.
So, she says she thought her left leg is bleeding. I don't know. This guy didn't see anything. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of psychological and physiological changes that occur in a fight. You know, like tunnel vision, auditory exclusion, those are things that happen. Physiologically, sometimes the body will automatically expel waste. It'll make a bowel movement. And that's not being, you know, negative or disrespectful or like, oh, she peed herself. No, that's normal. Like, guys who've gotten into gunfights have fucking pissed their pants, have shit. And it's not because they're any less than a man or anything like that. It's just a natural thing for an animal to happen in a fight. It is an evolutionary process that over the millions of years of evolution with animals, the bodies of animals and humans have learned that if the stomach gets cut and waste spills out into the cavity, infection's going to set and you're going to die. So many animals will empty bowels in a fight. Urine and defecation will just come out, and that's normal. That is a normal physiological thing to occur. And it's not something that a lot of people talk about. Actually, this might be the first time I've talked about in these Monday quarterback series. There's nothing peculiar about it. It's normal. It's just not widely talked about. Like, you're not going to have a fucking alpha male say, man, I shit my pants in this gunfight, or man, I fucking pissed a little bit in the gunfight. Like, they're not going to admit to that shit. But it does happen. Like, if you've ever been hunting and you fucking shot an animal or something like that, you know, if it dropped where you hit it, you may see that it pooped after you shot it. Now, depending on how long it took you to get to it, sometimes obviously dead animals and humans can expel excrement after death, but it's just that initial boom, fight, flight, freeze syndrome that kicks in. Brain starts to release a bunch of stuff, and the body starts to release a bunch of stuff, and a lot of times you can pee and poop during the fight. And like I said, it's a normal physiological reaction. It's something, like I said, that scientists theorize that over the millions of years of evolution, species learned, the bodies, the DNA, whatever, learned that your stomach gets cut, gets hurt, and poop spills out into the belly, infection sets, and you die. So it's best to, go into this fight with an empty bowel. Dog fights and stuff. You see dogs get into fights and stuff. They can be pooping. It's just a normal thing. So I don't know if she peed or not. I have no idea, but she is obviously feeling maybe some kind of liquid going on. And it could be pee, or it could just be that she is profusely sweating, and she is just having hypersensitivity, and she's feeling beads of sweat roll down her leg or something like that, and that could be it too. So no idea what's going on, but he came over there, he checked her. He did not physically check her, he just visually checked her. So one thing I would recommend is, he pushed up on her leg with his fingers there.
No.
One thing that I would recommend is take both hands, cup it around the limb, like you're doing a pat down on someone, and then just go down, and then look at your hands. Start from the top, go all the way down to the bottom, pull your hands away. If you see blood, then you know something's going on.
I don't see it. Valdez, move up to me.
Stay down. He's still moving, Barry.
Yeah.
Okay. Move up.
You want to get him, Sarge? Do not move. You move, you will get shot. You move, you will get shot. Hands on. There's a knife. Roll over. Yeah, cuss cup. Oh, fuck. Up 242, shots fired. Up 242, shots fired.
Alpha 292, suspect down.
Ma'am, get back in the house.
We need to start medical.
Get back in the house. Ma'am, get back in the house. I see the I see the gun. I see the gun.
So far, on the previous video, the guy at the front of the truck, and then this guy. So they were in the fight. Bad guy went down. They assessed, and doesn't look like they did much of a scan, looking around or anything like that. And we don't see a top off. So they expended some rounds. Target went down. They've assessed. This guy's not fighting anymore. they need to be doing reloads. So that way, if the fight starts again, if somebody else, let's say we see this door right here that's open, let's say, this was a plan to ambush police, he's got a buddy, it's better to start that second fight off with a full magazine versus a partially depleted magazine. Anytime there's a lull in the fight and you have the opportunity to top off your gun, by all means, top off that gun. You want a fresh mag in that gun in the event more fighting has to occur. You want to be able to control when you get to do a reload. It's called a tactical reload. Tactical reloads are better because you choose when you want to do it. They're better than emergency reload because then that's a slide lock. You have not chosen that exact moment when you want to do a reload. That's a shitty ass time to be reloading a gun, is when that motherfucker is empty and it is essentially nothing more than just a hammer until you get another mag in it. So reloading on your own accord is always better than being forced to suddenly. So anytime there's a lull in the fight, you got time to top off that gun, top it off. Get a fresh mag in there.
Ready? Hands up. There's the knife. Roll over. I got cuffs. You got cuffs.
Dallas 911, this is Shamika. You need police or an ambulance?
Police, please.
What address?
It's not really an address. Well, I can give you my home address, but it's not at my home address.
Okay, well, what's going on? What happened?
I'm driving to work right now, and I just saw an older white male with a gun. He had it in the air. He was in the middle of the street.
Okay, where is this? You don't remember what intersection? Or?
Yes, I can give you my home address, and you can look up the intersection.
Okay, what is that?
Will that help? Okay, it's going to be...
I don't know why, but they should have.
And it was also the intersection of Shiloh and Cotillion. He was a white male. He had like a white, button-up, not a white, but like a blue button-up shirt, untucked. I don't even know if he had face mask, face makeup on. He looked like maybe in the mid-50s.
Okay.
Longish, short, long hair, medium hair, I guess. And I was driving past him thinking, he's probably a homeless guy in the middle of the street, and he had a gun, facing my car and then put it towards the air, and I just, sped up. And I was just that's really creepy.
He's in the middle of the intersection?
He's in the middle of, he's in Shiloh, right before you hit Ferguson and Shiloh. He's on Shiloh.
Okay. And did he fire any shots? Anybody hurt?
No, I just sped up. My husband's driving behind me, and he's at the house still, but he's usually driving behind me, so I called him to tell him to not go that way. And then I hung up with him and decided to call you guys because I don't want something to happen.
Okay. Do you want to leave your name and phone number?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. I got it in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Dallas 911, this is Samantha. Do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
Police. I just left my house, and on Shiloh, a guy was standing outside with a gun in his hand. So I'm not sure. I just passed him. He's on for Shiloh and Ruth, Mayhew, in between that area.
Shiloh and what other street?
Ruth, Ruth, and Mayhew. I turned off of Mayhew, and that's where I saw him out there. It looked like he had on a blue shirt. White guy looked like a black gun. He had a black gun in his hand, and he was just standing. He was just standing there. I don't know what was going. I just want to, in case just want to report what I saw. He was just standing there with the gun in his hand.
Was that Shiloh Road and Ruth Ann Drive?
Yes, it's like shallow, and then the side streets are Root and Mayhew.
Oh, I just see Mayhew. Okay. What color pencils you wearing? Do you remember?
I don't recall, but it could have been jeans, but it looked like a light blue shirt as well. That's what I saw.
Was he just holding it down to his side, or was it pointing it at anybody?
He was just holding it. He was holding it down to his side.
Okay.
But he was just standing there like he was gonna daze. So I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Was he near a vehicle?
He was on right at the curb. He was at the curb, by his vehicle. Yes, in his yard. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Did you want to leave your name? Okay, thank you for reporting. I'll go ahead and put in a call.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that's it on that. Yeah, I waited a little too long to hit the replay on that. Fucking this shit happens.
Hello.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so that is the last of the audio calls. I think they should have played these at the very beginning of the video and then get into the body cam footage, but whatever. Not much else to talk about this video. It looks like this may have been a suicide by police kind of thing. I don't know for sure if that's what it is, but it looks like it could be something like that. So that's unfortunate. You know, that does happen across the country. It's sad that the person got to the point where they felt like dying was the only way for them to solve whatever problems they were having. He had the guns. He shot at them. You know, if he's going to be in that headspace, then it sucks that he just couldn't have done it himself. It's an asshole move to force other people to do that for you. These cops didn't want to have to do this shit. They don't want to fucking shoot people. You know, contrary to the left's belief, you know, the rabid left believes that police just want to go out and shoot people. That's not the case. Cops do not want to fucking shoot people. They don't. The majority of police in this country get to go their entire career and never have to shoot anyone. They may point their guns at people from time to time, but they don't ever have to shoot them. No one in that profession puts the uniform on, leaves the house, and is like, yeah, today's the day. Yeah, I'm going to shoot somebody. Like, nobody fucking thinks like that. They don't want to do this. But they're being forced to do this because they don't know what this guy's going to do. He does shoot at them. So that forces them to do something. They don't want to stand there and get shot, right? So this could be suicide by police. I don't know if it is or not. But if it is, then, you know, like I said, I'm empathetic that, you know, it sucks that this guy is in that headspace and feels that this is the only way to solve the problem. But he's an asshole for fucking doing this to these officers. That's just, like I said, that's an asshole thing to do. Now these officers are going to have to live with this. You know, they already fought physically for their life. Now they're going to have 2 more fights to go through. They're going to have the mental fight to go through, and then they're going to have the legal fight to go through. So this dude's selfishness has just now forced multiple people to have to continue fighting past this point. They're going to have to struggle or fight to some extent mentally with what's going on, and then they're going to have to do the legal fight. They're going to have to go through the whole process. So that's fucked up. This dude had obviously the guns. You know, if he's in that headspace, why not just, you know, do it himself? This could be a situation where it was not suicide by police. It could be that he was wanting to do harm to people, and they got there a little bit sooner than what he was expecting. He was not right in that right headspace to commence the attack right then and there. He had to build up that mental courage, so to speak. I don't think it's so much that one. I think it's probably more or less probably suicide by police. He lived with his mom. He does appear to be an older, I won't say older person. Let me take a look at this article real quick. Yeah, all it says is he lived in a nearby house with his mom. It doesn't even say his name in the news article or his age. So, typically, you know, adult men living at home with mom, like, that's a sign in and of itself that there's something wrong with that person. Not always, right? Like, not always. Like, sometimes, you know, shit happens. Like, people's houses burn down. People get evicted. Like, short term, okay, that's, you know, family helping family. That's it. There's nothing wrong with that. But, like, a long-term situation, like, that's a little odd, right? Like, that's a little weird for a long-term residency for an adult male to be living with mommy. That's just fucking odd. And anytime I've dealt with people who were adult men and were living with mommy, like, there's been something off about them. Like, there's something fucking weird about them. There's not something right. Yeah, this dude's 64 years old. 64-year-old Darrel Hibbard. Yeah, so at 64 years old, like, what the fuck are you doing living with mommy? Like, that's some weird shit. Alright, not much else to say about this video. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense, thank you for watching.